Hello and welcome to Budgeting Simplified. When we're talking about setting up a budget or looking at our cash flow coming into the household and the cash out that we have to spend on a monthly basis, have you ever sat down and really took a look at it? Do you understand what your flows in and flows out are on a monthly basis? Do you know how much money you spend in each category? And when we're talking about categories, how much do you spend on housing? How much do you spend on food? How much do you spend on transportation, entertainment? Have you really, truly ever looked at that? To me, when it comes to financial planning, it's truly a fundamental piece or fundamental understanding from where we can start doing some planning around, whether it's protection, whether it's savings, whether it's retirement planning, whether it's kids' education. Really need to start with understanding what is your cash flow in and cash flow out. So if you've never done that, where do you start? Take a look at 3 months of your expenses. So let's say you use a bank account and a credit card. Pull out any random 3 months, print it out or look at it on your computer, however you wish to do that, and go through every single line on those two statements, line by line, and make sure you're accounting for everything. You can create a spreadsheet that summarizes each of the categories. And what we're trying to derive at is the amount of money you spent on your essential expenses and your non-essential expenses. And simply put, your essential expenses are items such as housing, food, healthcare, utilities, transportation, personal expenses, and debt. When we're talking about non-essential expenses, we're talking about entertainment, dining out, non-essential shopping, vacations, and savings. What I think it's valuable to look at is what are the national averages. So Statistics Canada does a study every couple of years. This is a study from 2017. And again, it looks at Canada across, provinces across all of Canada. So we do have to take that into account because I would believe that there are certain pockets of Canada where expenses are quite a bit higher than in other parts of Canada. But if we were to look at the average, either, a couple with children or a couple without children, on average, 28% of their expenses is spent on housing, about 14% on food, and about 21% on transportation. Last thing that I would urge you to do is really take a look at where do you fit in versus the national averages. Are you below or above? And as an example, if you're spending, 40 to 50% of your monthly income on housing, how is that impacting the rest of your budgeting? Or how is that impacting the quality of your life? And if you're finding that you're struggling in the budgeting area, what I would strongly suggest is taking a look at setting a new budget or setting parameters of how much you should spend in each category. Once you've done that, and again, I would consider the national averages as some sort of a guideline, I would strongly suggest to take a look at and review your actual expenses every month for 6 months. Once you kind of get accustomed to what's my cash flow in, what's my cash flow out, now I completely feel in control or empowered around the money coming in out of my accounts, then I think it's sufficient to take a look at it once a year and really sit down and analyze to make sure you're still on board. And if you're with a partner, if you're married, if you're living with your partner, I would strongly suggest to also get your partner on the same page so that together you guys are paddling towards the same objective of having your monthly expenses understood.